Welcome to Flick Flash, where we compress entire seasons so you walk into the new one ready. CAPED Crusader is a period piece, 1940s Gotham, a younger, colder Batman, no Robin, no bat signal, and a city where the institutions are more dangerous than the freaks. Full spoilers from the first frame to the last. Buckle up. Gotham keeps exploding, someone is systematically blowing up crime boss Rupert Thorne's empire, and the city's official records blame gas leaks. A cover-up Batman cracks by dangling a crooked records inspector over train tracks until he coughs up a name, the Penguin. Meet Oswald the Cobblepot, mini driver, having the time of her life, a cabaret matriarch running Gotham's elite party scene from her luxury boat, the Iceberg Lounge, while bombing Thorne into extinction on the side. Her real problem is in-house. Thorne reveals one of her own sons is his informant. Oswalda grabs the wrong one, locks Aaron in a crate and drops him into the sea, while the actual rat, Ronald, runs to public defender Barbara Gordon begging for protection. Penguin's answer? Point a military-grade umbrella cannon at police headquarters. Batman beats her in a brutal deck fight, but can't stop the shot. Police HQ goes up in flames, and everyone inside survives only because Ronald's warning got the building evacuated. And here's the show's thesis, delivered in the last scene. Batman tells Alfred that taking down the Penguin just handed Thorne an open lane to expand. He stopped one crime boss and crowned another. I can't fail like this again. Remember that line. The whole season is that sentence coming true. A glamorous movie star, Yvonne Francis, vanishes, and Detective Renee Montoya's investigation collides with Batman's on the studio backlot. The suspect, fellow actor Basil Carlo, who's murdered before Montoya can break his alibi. Except he isn't. Carlo, a man so ashamed of his own face that Hollywood typecast him and Yvonne rejected him, used an experimental serum to make his face malleable. He faked his death, kidnapped Yvonne, and cast himself in the role he was always denied. The villain for real. This is the original 1940 comics Clayface, a shape-shifting actor, not a mud monster, and the episode plays as pure noir horror written by comics legend Greg Rucka. Montoya rescues Yvonne, Batman beats Carlo, and Clayface slips away before anyone can cuff him. Montoya's closing promise, she's not done with Batman, file that. At a museum gala for Gotham's jewels, Bruce meets heiress Selina Kyle, Christina Ricci, who has her eye on one piece in particular, Martha Wayne's pearls. Bruce, meanwhile, decks a partygoer who insults his dead parents and gets sentenced to a month of therapy with a certain Dr. Harleen Quinzel. That's not a throwaway line, that's a fuse. Selina's origin here is money, not tragedy. Daddy's in prison, the fortune is seized, and a spoiled rich girl who never learned to function without it puts on the original 1940s cat costume and starts stealing. Batman catches her and publicly outs her identity, so she upgrades, Batman style, gadgets, a better car, a proper crime spree. Bailed out, incidentally, by District Attorney Harvey Dent, the DA, bailing out a jewel thief, Gotham's finest. Bruce deduces she'll come for his mother's pearls, closes the museum early, and springs the trap. The final twist of the knife, in jail, Selina learns her own maid sold her belongings, and refuses to bail her out. She ends the episode with nothing. The city turns. Photos of Batman slugging cops hit the papers, Mayor Jessup orders a Batman task force, and Gordon puts Montoya in charge. The by-the-book option. The off-the-books option, Detectives Bullock and Flass, the two dirtiest cops in Gotham. Using Dr. Quinzel's police briefing profile of Batman, he compulsively hunts costumed criminals, so bait him with one. Bullock and Flass pull an arsonist called Firebug out of custody and deliberately let him loose. The fire tears through an apartment block with civilians inside. Batman rescues them while dodging SWAT bullets, Gordon reluctantly helps him carry kids out of the blaze, and Bullock and Flass murder Firebug to bury the evidence. The punchline is acid. The two cops who started the fire are hailed as heroes and handed the task force, while Gordon barely keeps his job. Written by Ed Brubaker, it shows. Gotham's richest men start donating their fortunes to charity and disappearing, or wandering the streets mid-breakdown. Barbara spots the common thread. They're all patients of her friend, Dr. Harleen Quinzel. Here's the reinvention, no Joker anywhere. This Harley Quinn is a therapist vigilante in a jester mask who kidnaps her wealthy, predatory patients and tortures their minds into correction. Bruce Timm has said this was his original pitch for Harley back in the animated series days. And remember, Bruce is her court-ordered patient. She's been psychoanalyzing Batman all season without knowing it. Barbara and Batman trace her to a basement lair. Harley drops Batman, rigs the house to blow, and falls to her apparent death when he recovers and saves Barbara instead. Then the sting. Harley's alive, and she phones Renee Montoya to cancel their date. Yes, date. The season's quietest time bomb, Gotham's most honest cop, is dating Gotham's newest supervillain. The season's one full supernatural detour, a ghost on horseback, the gentleman ghost, Jim Craddock, starts robbing Gotham's working class, and Batman literally cannot punch him. The world's greatest detective ends up in a graveyard performing a ritual prescribed by occult fixer Linton Midnight, sacrifice the deed to his old estate, plus the blood of a nobleman. Craddock possesses Alfred, which turns out to be the answer, because Alfred Pennyworth has noble blood. Ritual complete, ghost in a vial handed to Midnight. Divisive episode, half the fanbase wanted Scooby-Doo and got Constantine, but it exists to smuggle in one quiet scene. Rupert Thorne offers Harvey Dent a campaign donation. Dirty money from the man Batman accidentally empowered in episode 1. Dent hesitates all episode, and takes it. 2 episodes from now, that decision cost him his face. A gunman opens fire on Commissioner Gordon outside the courthouse, and suddenly Gotham is crawling with assassins. Floyd Lawton and a deep-cut nightmare onomatopoeia. Montoya vows to protect Gordon. Batman traces the contract to a Blackgate inmate named Muller. 3 twists escalating. 1. The real target was never Jim. It's Barbara. 2. The rot is inside the department. Officer Jim Corrigan, one of Gordon's own, tries to claim the bounty himself and gets disarmed and arrested by Gordon personally. 3. The motive. Muller ordered the hit because he wanted better prison accommodations. People nearly died over a cell upgrade. That's Gotham. The banality of evil, with a badge count. The season's most heartbreaking hour. Orphans start vanishing at a carnival hosting Harvey Dent's campaign fundraiser. The culprit is Natalia Knight, Nocturna, reimagined as a child, who suffers from an ailment she can only stave off by draining the life energy of other people. Her inventor brother Anton has been managing her condition. She turns on him for controlling her, and doesn't realize she's killed him. His dying words to Batman, "Stop her." Batman does it the hard way, by making her understand what she's done. He talks a devastated, suicidal little girl down off the sunrise and gets her to a hospital. The victims recover, her brother doesn't. There is no win here, only triage. And then the season pivots on one scene. Dent meets Thorne to finalize the donation, but refuses Thorne's condition of dropping charges against a friend. The one time the sleaziest man in Gotham shows a spine, Thorne's enforcer Tony Zito throws acid in his face. Integrity punished. Hold that thought. Harvey wakes from a nightmare of winning the election to the reality of losing everything. The race, the DA's office, and half his face. Bruce, his actual friend, tries to fix a shattered man with a nice dinner. It goes as well as you'd think. Dent spirals through the meal, then stands up and rips his bandages off in the middle of the restaurant. Diedrich Bader called it the most intense scene he's ever recorded. Alfred's verdict on Bruce's bedside manner is even more brutal than the scene. Then the other guy takes the wheel. Dent carves through Thorne's organization in a revenge spree. And here's the inversion that makes this Two-Face special. The acid didn't corrupt a good man. Harvey was dirty from episode 1. The scaring just unmasked what was already inside. The title says it plainly. Batman stops him one swing short of killing Thorne. Guilt floods back. Harvey turns himself in. And at Arkham, the final beat. His new defense lawyer is Barbara Gordon. The woman who spent all season calling out his corruption just signed up to save him. The finale opens with a coin flip. Harvey refuses Barbara's help, so she flips for it. And wins, because she's using his double-headed coin from episode 1. The season's most elegant bookend, his cheek coin becomes the instrument of her mercy. The plan, keep Dent alive to testify against Thorne. Everyone wants him dead first. Thorne's mob, plus Bullock and Flass. So the season's first real alliance forms. Batman, Barbara, Gordon, Montoya. Batman even gives Barbara a direct line. Progress, at gunpoint. The convoy is ambushed. Bullock and Flass abduct Harvey to execute him. Dent kicks the car into a crash. Barbara drags him out and calls Batman to the docks. And there, in the crossfire, Flass fires at Barbara, and Harvey Dent steps in front of the bullet. The season's best redemption arc ends as a corpse on a dock, dying to save the woman who believed there was still a man in there. Batman snaps, grabs Flass's gun, fires a ring around him, then hurls it into the bay. The closest this Batman ever comes to the line. Alfred's closing benediction. Bruce couldn't save Harvey's humanity, but he still has his own. And the bad guy wins. With Dent dead, the case against Thorne collapses. His only consolation prize arrives through his window. A batarang, and a silhouette on the rooftop. The war continues. Then the stinger. Somewhere in Gotham, a man is testing a toxin on victims. It makes them laugh uncontrollably, and die smiling. The latest test? A success. Season 2 has a Joker. If this saved you a 5-hour rewatch, subscribe and smash that like so the algorithm finds the next person catching up. And tell me below, was Harvey Dent a villain who died a hero, or a hero who was corrupt all along? I read everything. Next on Flick Flash, Season 2 breakdowns the day the episodes drop. See you in Gotham.